Oh, Descaros, the kids missed you, and I did too. What's up, guys? The guy with a pencil here. Fun fact, I do want to have it on me and keep it on me at all times. Fun fact, here. I mean, like, you know I have to pre-draw it for Peachy though. It's especially with my wife back in the Manga, bro. Oh, it feels like it's been so long. It feels like it's been so long. And it has been. I didn't know it had been like 8 whole weeks. Jeez. It's been 2 whole months since I got to see my wife, bro. Oh, my heart. But she's back here. However, this does seem very concerning as I've read the title, chapter 73 of Ichi, A Star Falls. Now, I'm going to make an assumption. That assumption being that the star is in reference to Kizashi. Because remember, Kizashi and Hitsugi make up the 7 stars. I hope it does not refer to Descaros. Or like, well, presumably, it could refer to Libro. Because remember, they are the Ikaga clan. I forget the full context, but like, they're related to stars too. So, this name does have technically double entendre, meaning I'm just hoping it's not double entendre as in anything to do with my wife. Please. But oh, someone here, please harm my wife. But regardless, Descaros is here. And she took, like, it's almost like she's less damage and actually cleaner than she was when we last saw her. So I do hope we get to see at least a little bit of what happened to her, as cool as it was to drop her at the end of the last chapter. But A Star Falls, I'm putting my little non-existent means on it being Kizashi and not actually Descaros, because, like, she's too goated to fall to a fraud. I can't say Hitsugi's a fraud, he's actually a monster. But a fraud! Like Hitsugi. How dare you hold my wife from me for so long? But here she is. Finer than ever. I know y'all are like, man, Pencil, you are unhealthily obsessed. Yes! Wait, do you think you were going to get any other answer? Yes! But let's see. Interesting, though. So she does stab him directly in the dome piece. So we know that's not really going to do anything. Unfortunately, unless she does continue to catch these bodies here, presumably, she still hasn't met the criteria. In fact, I wouldn't be shocked if she just, like, left. If she just flat out just chased him down after he turned his back to go deal with Kizashi. She's like, oh, portal, and just dipped after him. She's not actually completing the criteria. The Libro resurrection? Reversal? Revival? Let's say revival. The Libro revival may still be untouched by her. Like, Descaros did seem to be genuinely kind of mentally broken at the sight of him. And while it would be a crazy thing for Descaros to have just sliced him down, clearly she wasn't going to do that. At least it didn't seem so. But let's see. Am I really going to say it should have been me? Not it. It should have been me! Not him! I'm kidding. But let's see. Oh, that's right. I forgot. They are still mad far away. So Ichi is just watching. I don't know, man. The death dice fix keep increasing in consistency and quality. So I can no longer, like, I mean, Big Sis Death definitely, like, is a thing. I'm sorry, man. Mama Death to son Ichi, just, it's like literally ingrained into my brain at this point. But that is the fic talking. You could argue it's still Big Sis Death. But Ichi looking at his mentor being like, oh, I forgot. So yeah, she is the strongest after all, huh? But let's see. Oh, okay. So she is. So last chapter ended off with her looking a bit cleaner, but she still is soaked in blood. So it's this panel in the end of the last chapter, and I get it. You don't want to like distract from the moment of Descaros' return by having you still covered in biohazard. But let's see, Descaros. Yes, indeed. Yo, mama back. She came back. Don't worry. She got the milk too. I feel like I genuinely feel like all those memes I've seen. I don't know what it is. And to be fair, if you're ever wondering if that guy with the pencil would become an obedient, loyal house husband, if his wife made like 7, yeah, I have no shame in the game, dog. I have no shame in the game, absolutely. So I genuinely feel like one of those memes I've been seeing, where it's like running home from their 3-hour shift, insert minimum wage position to do something for their wife because their wife is home. And that's also me, for real. And Ichi's very happy to see Descaros back. Interesting to see the sparkles on both of them, though. I don't know what that's supposed to mean. It may just be accents, though. Let's see. Abyssal Witch, Descaros. You did it. Were you not watching? Well, to be fair, he was paying attention to Kizashi, so maybe he legit wasn't. Maybe he legit was like, yeah. Well, to be fair, I don't blame him because last he saw, assuming, like, I'm not sure how the timeline of Descaros' mass slaughter exactly lines up with the timeline of events that we've been following so far. But presumably, last thing he saw was also last thing we saw. Descaros being consumed by, like, the whole army of zombies. And was like, oh, that's G-Chisel stuff. So, I don't actually blame him for being like, you did it, didn't you? You did it. Yeah. But, well, maybe not. Like, ultimately, you did provide a lot of spare. Like, she could have kept that one untouched. Once again, I still am very confused on whether or not Hitsugi actually brought, like, the remains of Libro's body and then, like, reanimated them or reversed them to the point where it at least could speak. Or if it was, like, a sort of what he did with the skeletons when he was zoomed out of time by Chrono, where he just made new stuff. Like, it's really hard to tell with the reverse of Magic Hitsugi. Let's see. You did it. I can. Oh. Oh, okay. Yeah. So, well, if he can tell, I'm assuming because it's part of his magic. I can tell you did it to him. What you did to all the other shambling corpses. You killed him. You killed your own brother. I mean, like, I don't know, man. I talk about this all the time. Funnily enough, not in this series, but in another series that is heavily based in a magical world. In Four Knights, there's this idea of, hey, would you be able to live with or be okay with someone manifesting a false copy of your lost loved one or a loved one that you care about, right? Because they don't always have to be lost. They'll typically, in Four Knights, the assumption is that they are, like, gone, though the manifestations of that realm that I'm referring to, I'm trying to be, like, relatively vague, because it is kind of spoilers. So, that realm, they can be also, like, real people that are still alive, and that you know factually are still alive, and they can be a whole different it's like it's your idealized version of whatever you want, essentially. And I've always been like, I've talked about this many times in those reviews, that I'm like, no, I don't, like, it would feel wrong, ultimately. If I knew, actually, either I knew the real person was still around, or even if the person was gone, I don't want to, not a fake version of them. It would not sit right with me. And I'm assuming Descaros, even if she struggled with it at first, you can even see here, she's with the is it cross hatching if there's no cross? Like there's no this? I mean, I guess so. You can tell by the line work here, essentially, that Uzuzaki-sensei does here. That Descaros acknowledges that Hitsugi's telling the truth, and is probably still disgusted by it to a degree, but it's that hard thing. Like it's if it's a false manifestation of a memory or me, I'm picking me, and Descaros clearly did that. Let's see. Oh. That's cool. Is that perspective? Is this like the hole through his head? Let's see. Okay. So we're getting a flash. Okay, so this isn't a hole through his head. This is what Descaros is doing. She made a barrier. Let's see. It's dark, cramped, but warm. As warm as my blood. But Libro's body is ice cold. I knew this day had to come event. Did you did? How? Okay. Well, I knew this day had to come eventually. It was inevitable. Oh, okay. Simply the use of her little brother against her. Yeah. Like, I guess, unfortunately, with the... It's cold. Wait, it's dark, cramped, but warm as my blood. But Libro's body is ice cold. So I guess, like, the physiology of what she's referring to there. But I guess that is the case, right? Especially, like, that's the crazy thing with Modrics being sentient. And, like, even the most bestial Modrics we've seen are fully capable of communication. Obviously, I'd say, like, the most... Funnily enough, the most bestial and basic of the Modrics we've seen isn't even a beast, it's Kendake. the mushroom Modric. And he was fully capable of understanding. So, of course, people who are highly capable, highly intelligent, highly evil would go out of their way to use any weakness that they could find in a human. It does make logistical sense. So, in fact, I'm actually impressed that it did take this long in Descaros' career. We still don't actually know how long Descaros has been active for. We don't know the ages of any of the characters. I don't know where I got in my head the ages. We don't know the ages of any of them. I've looked this up many a time. We just don't know. Well, some of these senseis is incredibly vague, which is hilarious because in their other series, Welcome to Demon School with Rumakun, like we know every character's age. Like even some characters I didn't expect. Like I was looking up context of making a video for Irumakun, and I was like, huh, we do know that? I'm not gonna say the character's name because it's a spoiler, but like, oh, we do know that character because that like the age of the characters is very, very important there. Meanwhile, in Ichi the Witch, it's actually rather vague. We don't know how old anyone is, but Descaros has presumably been active for multiple years at this point, and has presumably also encountered multiple epic tier magics, at least some, right, beyond Uro and I guess now Hitsugi and Chrono, I suppose. She's probably encountered multiple, so it's impressive that none of them did that. But of course, there is also the conditions of their abilities and whether or not Descaros encountered magics that would even like be able to tell that or learn about that. Hitsugi is a specific example as the reverser magic who likely has studied Descaros to some degree and directly works underneath the World Hater, who probably gonna done some back research on, hey, where did this extremely powerful witch come from who keeps capturing all the okay. Probably World Hater motivation is pretty common. Let's see. It was inevitable. Human hater magics are sadistic fiends. One of them was bound to throw something I truly despise in their trial, sooner or later. And I just knew that was going to be something connected to Libra. We don't have enough context for the rest of Descaros. We know they're orphans, but they are genuine siblings, at least seemingly. I don't think it's like Descaros and Libra have separate parentage. So I do wonder if we're ever going to get context for that. Because they were both relatively young. I don't think we know how old they were when they were orphaned. I don't know. But let's see. Well, to be fair, we do know their parents died to a sickness. So it's not like they actively, intentionally abandoned them. It's not like an Ichi thing where like that's going to be, that's a Chekhov's gun that's just waiting to be fired, sitting on the shelf somewhere. Ichi's backstory. Or like parental lineage. Meanwhile, Descaros it's kind of fully elaborated on. The only thing we could possibly get more context for is the sickness itself. And whether or not that was like magically based or actually biological. Let's see. I saw this coming. I knew it had to happen. And yet, now that it's actually here, it hit way harder than I expected. Yeah. Like, and that's another thing, speaking of that other series again. I talk all this tough talk, and admittedly, I have, like, weird, loose examples of it. Like, I mentioned this in that series, but I may have mentioned in each other, I'm not sure. that's the thing with reviewing so much. I'm not sure how many stories I've mentioned with overlap. But I do have a friend who passed away a few years ago now. And occasionally, he does show up in my dreams. And explicitly dreams, right? Like, notably, I mean, like, I typically only do remember nightmares, but I don't have nightmares as often. So now I'm just considering most of the things I do remember as dreams. So, in my dreams, he'll show up. And, like, that will immediately, like, it'll... and this is why I'm so confident in the idea, like, I don't think I'd rock with it. Is him, someone I deeply cared about and did lose. Whenever he shows up, my brain, like, Dream Me, who has gone through some of the most insane, out there, wild scenarios and never realized it was a dream until he woke up and was like, oh, that was a dream? In that moment, I'll immediately be like, you're not here anymore. This is fake. And of course, it does help that I've aged, and whenever he pops up, he hasn't. So, like, that is a big thing that I'll be like, huh? And I know, like, time is something that you're always supposed to, like, check in your dreams. Like, if you're, I think, like, a trick to, like force yourself or do lucid dreaming is, like, look at your watch, if you commonly wear a watch like I do. Like, look at your watch, and then look at it again, and if the time is drastically different, then, like, oh, you're dreaming, and then you can try and lucid dream. I still never figured that out. But his presence in a dream will, like, immediately snap me out of it. And sometimes my body will just be like, ah, shoot, he noticed, wake up, and or sometimes he'll, like, fade. And then the dream will continue, but I'll just be aware that I'm dreaming from that point on. So, it does hit. And obviously this is in a much more violent context that Descaros is encountering this in. And also a much more violent end that Libro faced. But I do understand that idea of, like, man, even if you do mentally prepare for something, if you tell yourself, alright, I'm ready for this, I'm ready for this, I'm ready for this, I'm ready for this, in the actual moment, it definitely will be harder. And it's just, we gotta remember the context that Descaros is fighting under. She still doesn't know how well Ichi, I don't want to say the new Libra, but, like, her next, I guess that's where a lot of, like, the big sis interpretations come from, the fact that Ichi's being directly compared to Libra. And, like, Libra wasn't Descaros' kid. But, I don't know, the age difference always kicks into me. But then again, I don't know how old Descaros is. But that aside, and I actually just really like that size fix. But that aside, in this instant, Descaros doesn't know that Ichi is awake, doesn't know how the whole scenario is going to go, doesn't know what's happening in Chrono. And while she probably does have a strong magic sense and is able to tell somewhat what's going on, it's very, very vague. And she's worried about Minerva, she's worried about Kamugi, worried about Kokoroku, she's worried about so much. And in this moment, she still has to deal with this. An emotional conflict she's been mentally preparing for, but is being foisted upon her in an instant, when she was already not feeling good with having to tear through so much human flesh. So yeah, it's a lot of stress and external things being pressured on Descaros all at once. And this was supposed to be the straw that broke the camel's back, but Descaros just goes like that. Let's see. Hey, Libro. I never wanted to be a witch. Figures. You said it'd be cool if I could be some kind of big hero. But to be blunt, I was terrified of the idea. Think about it. If I became a witch, fought a magic, and died, I would have left you alone. It was already just the two of us. I couldn't stand the idea of leaving you behind. Man, and isn't that always the tragedy? Isn't that always the disparaging point? The idea, and it's the idea that it is only her dedication to Libro's dream that did end up saving her and producing the strongest witch the world has ever seen. Or at least the strongest witch right now. We don't know. We know about historical stuff, but like, presumably the strongest witch in the world was only born and only managed to survive. Like, Descaros at that point would have been diffed with the rest of the Ikaruga clan, right? Descaros is the only survivor, I'm pretty sure, of her clan that we know of at this point. So, with that being the case, if she was not pushed to be greater by Libro, she wouldn't have abandoned him, but she would have died with him. And now she's forced to live on this ideal. Not even, well, to be fair, she's not forced. She could have gone down a completely different path. But now she believes it is her role to play out this ideal dream that Libro had for her based on her own potential. And also just to essentially avenge her brother, the living memory of him, and become that idealization that he always dreamed of, since he's not going to be around to see it. Let's see. Not when you got lonely so easily. But in the end, I was the one left behind. If I could have, I would have died with you that day. Exactly. But here we are, being given another chance to die together. And you know, maybe that wouldn't be so bad, Libro. Now, let's see, now the interesting thing is, and I want to know, does she leave that conclusion of her own accord, or does Libro say something that's false Libro? Oh, even better. Even better. Yep. Yep. Beautiful. Man, I love Ichi the Witch, bro. It's just so goated. It's so goated. Man, I can't wait for this thing to get in anime. But it's going to be rough because of how good the art is. Stop. Go away. Go away. I don't want you open. Go away. Let's see. Clunk. Descaros. And it's so beautiful that she keeps the star candies on her. I never even noticed. I don't know where she keeps it. I wish I was where she kept it. But regardless, to see this be the realization, right? Like she was genuinely considering it, like probably just letting down the barrier, letting yourself presumably be devoured by this false. Well, once again, I don't know if it's false or if this is literally the remains reanimated, but I mean, presumably by the rules of Hitsugi as a reverse reaction, it probably is Libro's legit remains that he just, like, I don't know, kept in his back pocket or something. But regardless, she was considering it. But then the responsibility of the future, the responsibility of the living, the gifts of the living, and the hope that has been reinstilled in Descaros, that's what brings her. And not an external thing, not from Libro breaking free and being like, no, sister, don't do it. It's the promise of the future. And let's see. Let me see if it's not just the promise of the future or something else. Yeah. Those are just excuses. An escape route that would let me set down my burdens. But I've still got a promise to keep. And a laundry list of stuff to do when I get back. A feral kid to look after. See, that's once again, I can't see that. Like, I mean, like, oh, I can see the older sister inspirations, but like a feral kid, like that's her son. That's her son. That's her, like, and like honestly, I I genuinely, if I could ever learn Japanese, presumably, and then speak with the, I don't want to say the Rumakun Sensei, Lord. If I could speak with Osamu Nishi Sensei, I would love to ask, like, what do you view it as? You're the writer. I and many other fic writers have interpreted it as like a mother-son dynamic, like 2 moms, 1 kid. And then like pseudo-adopting Kabuki and Gokuraku. But like, I've interpreted it as that. But I do wonder what the original authorial intent is behind that. Maybe this wouldn't be the first time I misinterpreted something for a long time, then heard how the author interpreted it, and was like, I guess that does make sense, and then had to like reframe my perspective around that. Specifically, that was like, what am I referencing? I know I'm referencing something. There was something about some series. I was like, I read it one way, and then I heard how the author looked at it, and I was like, oh, well, actually, and then I corrected it. I'm not sure. I think it's either Seven Deadly Sins or Magi. It's one of those two, where like I heard something that Nakaba Suzuki Sensei had to say, or Shinobu Utaka Sensei had to say, and I was like, well, actually, and then I like had to reframe something, but I don't remember what it was in the specific context. Was it a feral kid to look after too? Interesting, she doesn't even connect them to all those other things. I'll admit it, you weren't the only one who dreaded being alone. I was. She doesn't even say only one there. You weren't the one who dreaded being alone. Libro was willing to be made free, but well, to be fair, no, he's just looping Big Sister. I miss you so much. For years that I've clung to your memory, clung to regret. Now look where it got me. Can't rest easy with your big sis like this, huh? I don't like. Once again, it's a hilarious case. This happens actually kind of a lot, where the one's like, aha, allow me to revive this dead family member or family friend of this major protagonist in order to cripple their will, and then it actually ends up being therapy for them and reinforcing their will, making them stronger. But in this case, this is truly needed for Descaros. In many cases, it's usually, whenever the trope is used, it is truly needed. But for Descaros in particular, it's like her severing, or her presumably cutting down Libro here, is necessary for her to do. Because if she didn't do it, then it always would have been something to hold her to the past. It wouldn't be so much a foundation she could stand on, but a foundation she was chained to. But now, in this moment, she's breaking free of that foundation. Today, it's goodbye for real, Libro. It's time for me to go. To the place you wanted for me. To a future you would be proud of. So yeah, still, like I mentioned, foundation, but now she's unchaining herself from it. Oh, interesting. Oh, well, no. She pulls him off from biting her. Alright, yeah. Big sis. Mm-hmm. Oh, big sis. My hero. See you later, Libro. Oh. And she bites into one of the star candies, crunching down, just like her brother crunched down on her, and then slashes through to break free. Man, she's just so golden with it. She's just so golden, man. I still I need to gaslight more people into reading Ichi the Witch. I need to wiggle my fingers for people and like be like, read it. It's peak. It's peak. And I've gotten some. I need more because this is just so good. No, it's so good. And I do. And you know the thing I like the most, even if she has resolved to do this, even if she's willing to focus and essentially gamble on the future instead of just giving up and leaving everything behind, she doesn't do it with like a big old smile or even like a hint of like true proper joy. It is that like realization of, no, I cannot give up here and I will not. So she bites down without a smile. She breaks the candy off and then she slashes through. Because there are times, like even I think of many times where I've resolved myself to do things, especially things I didn't want to do. there are many things where I don't want to do. Sometimes I gotta resolve myself to get up in the morning and go to work. But it's rare that I should work on it so it's more often with a smile. But in terms of doing it, there are some things that need to be done because they need to be done. Whether I like them or not, you gotta keep moving forward. That's the beautiful thing about life. There is no going backwards. I suppose you could say maybe not beautiful, but it's the thing of life. Time passes, and it only marches forward. And in all of human history, no one's figured out how to go back. So there is no going back. So move forward. Let's see. Up. Oh, does that count? Oh, wow. Oh, wow. She came on a whole array of bodies. So I kind of figured like she had way more to go, but no. Yeah, she just got him. All right, let's see. Slash. All right. So she's almost been thinking. Well, I still don't think like there's no way we're capturing Hitsugi here. Like he's gonna have to escape. Maybe it was like a false trial he gave her. Let's see. Interesting though that the slaughter of that zombie in particular released this. Oh well, to be fair, this could be Descaros' own magic. This could be like a bursting Lazood. Let's see. Last one down. All that's left is you. Yes. What a spectacular, perfect conclusion. I can't read. I don't know what it is. But you know what? I'm getting better at correcting what I can't read. Let's see. Oh, okay. He's gone. Let me see. I like notably with Hitsugi tweaking like this, it's harder for me to do like the lower rider so I can really give him. But let's keep it pushing. The high and mighty witch, coldly putting down her own little brother. If it means acquiring a Mashik, you won't hesitate to slaughter your own family. It's exactly as I said. Love doesn't exist. You're proof of that. You've shown that humans are not more than greedy animals, driven by vengeance and hate. That they're vile, cowardly, inferior creatures. I couldn't be more satisfied. You are correct. The last of the 10,000 lives is my own. Come, acquire me, Descaros the Abyssal Witch. Bring this ultimate conclusion. I can't wait to see you in your magic circle, so I can watch you drown in a sea of regret. I think he should have gone a bit more joyous there. He's like blushing happily. But that, honestly, it's a very interesting question. Or like a very interesting pose to what Hitsugi believes in, right? Especially with the whole idea of like love, especially how much he hates the concept, right? Remember that after like as Chrono was only going to skip him out of existence, even if it didn't work, Hitsugi was very focused on the idea of like don't say that word, don't use that word, like I hate you, don't do it. And it is interesting, right? Because I also do believe that humans are full of love. I also do believe that love has many times been the motivation for the most heinous acts imaginable by humans. Two things can be true. So ultimately, love does exist. And Descaros' love for her brother is no different. And not even in like the logistical sense of like that wasn't her brother. Her brother's been dead for years. So cutting him down, even if it was like a painful thing to do in the moment, technically isn't cutting down her brother, even though she uses it as like a release for that. Even if, let's even say it is legit cutting down her brother, right? It is the love of others and a love of herself in the future that her brother wanted for her that pushed her to do that. That's pushed her to come this far anyway, to do all that, to evolve in the way that she has. And thusly, I think love can exist, and yeah, people can still be capable of heinous, disgusting acts. Think of the many cases of like lovers, right? Like it's not like, unfortunately, it's not uncommon. Some of the most heinous acts ever have been quote unquote motivated by love, and in many cases, that is just how it is. Humans in many ways, we are complex. As much as I even claim that I'm a simple gentleman, right? I like eating and like yapping. That's all I got. But humans are complex. Emotions and how they interact are complex. What we do based upon the emotions that we feel are complex. The infinite amount of reactions to rage, for example. Think about how, when people get angry, can you think of just one way that everyone gets angry? I know people who get angry and they get really, really loud and boisterous. I know people when they're angry that they get insanely quiet. I know people that get angry and you can barely tell anything's changed because nothing in their demeanor changes. Because you look at mannerisms. Like there are so many different ways that even just anger, which is typically just a commonly negatively associated emotion and feeling, is portrayed and controlled and manipulated by humans. Because humans are complex and a lot of us are different. We may have 0.01% genetic variation, but in that genetic variation there is a lot of different reactions. And genetic variation and nurture versus nurture and nature in terms of how we react to certain things. Like notably, to use myself as a reference as always, when I was younger, when I got angry, I would get loud and crazy and this and that and the third. That was my nature. I got it from my dad. And then, through extensive nurture from my mom and many others, now whenever I get angry, it's just like, now mostly I just disengage. I calm. And that's a nurture kind of thing. But notably, both are still me. Younger me and current me are still me, pencil. So my reactions to anger have changed, and that's because humans, like me, and many others, are complicated. So let's see it. Let's see if a star will fall today. Will Descaros actually get Hitsugi? Oh my word! Sorry, that took my. I like this panel. Epic. I love this. Now this one. It should have been me, not him. But also, this right here. I read this. Huh? Hitsugi, why are you scared, bro? Listen. Excuse you? Who are you calling vile, inferior, and ugly? Do you not know perfect, youthful beauty when you see it? He doesn't. He doesn't, Descaros. He doesn't. Let me. Well, Togai's got that. I was literally one of my friends who read ichithewitch, and then they because I've been sending like Descaros memes a whole bunch, and they were like, "Huh, you know Togai's got that, right?" I was like, "Yes, I know. Yes, I know. I know Togai's got that. It doesn't matter. A man can dream. Gosh darn it, a man can dream." But would that be the case? Let's see. Yeah, so I guess she wanted me to make me play the. Wait, hold on. Yeah, so I guess she wanted me to make me play up the whole almost gives in, but gets it together at the last second for a cool, traumatic victory thing. But let me be blunt. You are so off the mark. Talk that talk. Talk that talk, Descaros. Let's see. I don't have any. Oh, she's about to atomize her bros. That's what's his name? That's Iskandar. Let's see. I don't have any regrets. Not anymore. I don't have to look behind me to know my dumb little brother is there. He's always. Oh, that's so beautiful. Oh, that's beautiful. To know my dumb little brother is there. He always has been. Giving me the push. Wait, no, I'm reading that wrong. He's always. No, no, I guess I'll say that. I see the comment now. Let's see. He always has been. Giving me that push that I need. So basically, what I'm trying to get at is right now. Yes. I'm the greatest there is. Loser. Yo, I'll do anything to get that magic circle done. Oh, please. Let's see. That's crazy. That's crazy that he was talking all that talk, was geeking and freaking all that time. And now looks just genuinely horrified. But you know what? I guess, especially considering we don't know how old Hitsugi is, but I can't imagine this is the first person to fail his trial because of something similar that he did to them, right? Where he brought back a loved one. Or maybe they couldn't even just get through the base idea of, like, slaughtering even random human life. Like, they just couldn't do it, right? So, of course, when faced with a being like Descaros, someone who has been able to understand and transcend those petty, those individual, the disgust of the nature of what Hitsugi innately implies, and not even implies, but exercises, it must be terrifying, right? And especially considering what Descaros just did through knowing her dumb little brother's there. He always has been. Give me the push I need. She is, just like Chrono was, directly contradicting the idea of love. In fact, she's sort of giving into the idea that I mentioned, the idea that, you know, love can lead to a variety of emotions and things and interpretations. And it is the love of Libro, that belief that he's always there, that allowed her to cut that Libro down. The physical, the metaphysical, the beyond her love of a brother that was lost many years ago is what's allowing her to move forward. It is that love, that foundation there. And obviously Hitsugi doesn't believe in that. He thinks it's impossible. He thinks it's wrong. He thinks it's an excuse made by weak creatures, and that if it's made by strong creatures, it's not even real. And thusly, he is horrified, seeing proof of what he so desperately does not want to believe in. And that is true. It is, there is nothing more horrifying than realizing you were wrong the entire time. Admittedly, there are some things more liberating. It's still, like, It's funny for people who've been around on the channel for very, very long, because there are definitely some opinions I've had that I've like completely flipped on over the years. And for some people who've been around for a while and like know the continuity of Pencil, they're like, it's weird looking at you now in comparison to like how you looked at even just like a few years ago. And it is true. Like one of the big things I switched on is Gojo versus Sukuna. And while I still glaze both characters indiscriminately because I love both characters, shock horror, man can like multiple characters at the same time. But my opinion on that battle has fundamentally changed. And I'm not one of the biggest, obviously it wasn't size-wise, but like I was a hardcore Gojo Glazer. And I still am. But in terms of Gojo glazing and thinking he's stronger than Sukuna and winning that fight. But now my opinion has changed. And admittedly, unlike Hitsugi, now that my opinion has changed, I'm actually cool with it. I like being enlightened and educated and learning more. Unlike a certain Hitsugi, who doesn't seem to be very happy with the fact that he's about to be acquired. Let's see. Bury him. You know what? I was asking, hey, is it gonna be Descaros? Is it gonna be I guess I mentioned at the start of the review Libro, or is it gonna be Kizashi? Looks like the star that falls may be Hitsugi. Let's see. Bury him. Unless World Hater shows up at the end and saves Hitsugi. Iskandar. Oh, what? Yo, this is so gorgeous. Yo, the pointed heels go crazy too. I still like that's gotta be somewhat uncomfortable though. Well, I guess no. The broadness of the heel is back there. It's like she's standing on a pin tip. It's just that's the end of the heel. But let's see. Iskandar Mediacaras? Maria Caras? That doesn't sound like Maria Caras. Iskandar Maria Caras. Absolutely eviscerating him. And that's beautiful too. In the shape of the star. The same sort of star candy that she bit on to reach this point. The same star candy that represents the bond between her and Ichi. Let's see. Oh, wow. Oh, and I love how his speech is now broken up. Yeah, he's genuinely crystallizing. All right. Wow. So, huh? Is Kizashi all right though? Like where'd my son go? Let's see. Love. Does not. Yeah, you don't get it. I doubt you ever will. Oh. No world haters left. So wow, a star did indeed fall. One of the 7 stars, and also, technically, Leroy's manifestation, but an undeniably W chapter. Like, shock horror, an entirely Descaros focused chapter is getting glazed by pencil. Oh, what are you gonna tell me next? Sky's blue? Huh? Pigs can't fly? I have an unhealthy obsession with Descaros. But regardless, if you made it all the way to the end of this review, I think I made it pretty clear. I love the character development, acknowledgement, and respect that this chapter gives to Descaros, and the idea that while she is the strongest, she still has a lot more emotional development to undergo and many different things that she has accepted about herself, but yet has not and is working through that. And just the ideas that surround Descaros as a character and how they're executed are so well done in this chapter. And even Hitsugi works really, really well. He, funnily enough, considering he was mentioned alongside the sadistic human hater Magics, in a way that I'd say even Uro hasn't just yet. Hitsugi works very well for Descaros just as well as Bakugami or Bakjam ended up working for Gokuraku as major Magic antagonists. I will admit, removing Hitsugi off the board this early, and still possibly removing Kizashi. We don't know if Kizashi was, like, saved by Descaros coming in and, stabbing Hitsugi in the head. And, like, even then, that weapon, like, presumably the World Hater is gonna have to come back to claim that thing, right? Like, maybe they themselves will show up next, because, like, hey, dude, like, why are 2 of my stars gone? Like, presumably, if they do have any sort of input or emotion regarding their stars. I still think Hitsugi was kind of, like, coping in terms of actually serving the World Hater. But presumably we may get a World Hater appearance. I'm not sure what the fate of Kizashi is. There's still a bunch of things that are up in the air. Obviously, Minerva's still giving birth. So there's still a whole lot that needs to go on. Even though technically it seems like the arc's at its end, I'd say, with both of our major Magic antagonists gone. Right? Or like, Kizashi is no longer going to act as an antagonist. That's the whole reason Hitsugi backstabbed him anyway. And then Hitsugi is now being claimed. Unless something happens where Descaros can't keep the stone, Hitsugi's removed, which is going to be very, very interesting for the longevity of the 7 stars as an antagonist group. I don't think Ichi-the-Witch is anywhere near done. I think it's doing way too well. It's way too good with the sauce right now, thankfully enough. So, I don't think it's anywhere near done, but I'm excited to see. Obviously, another reason why I'm so confident in Ichi the Witch lasting a while, and I'm more so thinking it's up to Shiro Uzaki Sensei rather than someone Ichi Sensei itself, is because Iruma-kun is also nowhere near done. Iruma-kun is over 400 chapters, genuinely, Iruma-kun's nowhere near done. I feel it in my bones. Like, Iruma-kun's probably gonna hit like 900. I mean, like, that's insane to say. If you've read Iruma-kun, you know exactly what I'm talking about. So I have the same faith for Ichi the Witch being like one of those core foundational things that's gonna be a part and sticking around for a while. So I'm very, very excited. So let me hit it for the 2 times. But if you made it all the way in this video, please leave as since the chapter's called A Star Falls, leave a rising star. A rising star in the comment section down below. Well, thank you so much for watching. Please remember to leave a like, share, comment, and subscribe. Make sure that link notifications will see not miss out on any videos that come to the channel. Also, you can have a page down below where you support me for as low as $1 a month. Things like exclusive videos, early content, and more. Also, now become a member of the channel for as low as $3 a month to get the same perks and more. Some of those perks include the live reactions of the series I have to review, ad reactions of all my videos, early ad-free access to all my videos, early ad-free access not just all my videos on the main channel, but all the videos on the second channel. That called reaction, link in the description down below, and in the card in the upper right. And then on top of that, give a link to my Twitch down below. I'm finally gonna start streaming again. Sorry for all the people who will be like, where's the streams at? So streams will be back on. Back on the controller. Link in the description down below. I stream every Friday at 8 p.m. ES Tizzle. I'm probably gonna change the time a little bit though, just because real life circumstances are happening. So I'm probably gonna have to stream either earlier or later in the week. But with it being the case, I also do have my Ko-Fi down below if you want to drop 5 minutes for a short video, 20 videos long video, or any means at all. Any support is always greatly appreciated. Now, I want to thank you so much for watching once again, and I hope you guys have a wonderful day. This is That Guy with the Pencil, writing off. Alright, lady, thank you to our sketch tier members: Eternal Flame, Redwolf 4765, Astro, Glacier XZ, Zera, J2MA, Bura Ura, Yuki Ally, Grim, Ollie, The Boy, Corey Watson, Damon Brown, Dino, Tim Thomas, Kaving, OrXN, Logan Guzman, Dead Meme, Keon Stewart, Donovan McIntosh, BNA DNA, Edwin Ingby Norba, Straw, Antavius Mitchell, Superflame Zero, Weary Exile, Window Life, Alex Kenny, Todd, The Practical One, Landon Clapwick, Heath Nelson, CAET, Jagoda, Plant Crone, Striker Man, Brendan Payne, Black Sage, Multi Batman Superman, Zalims, Joe B, Sleepin' John, The Young Family Pastel Pandora, Mo City King, DKG, Andrew Bonnet, John Malcolm, Akolade Babatunde, ASD1234, Jesse Clapp, CCC, Romano Furin, Sky XT, Victor Jacobs, Axis XC, Osin Tabwit BDM, Kingly, at JDog2656, Union Eye, Marisol Boyd, Funny Dude, Athenzi Shear, Magic, Sino King, Shish King, Aswin Hedi Prasetya, and JMB KD. Then, let's give a thank you to our line art tier patrons: A+A, Dured Zoen, Corina Hernandez, Kevin Encarnacion, Lil Kodo, Midnight Lord 21, and Sean. Then, let's give a thank you to our ink tier member, Shrimpo the 4th Shrimp 06. Then, let's give a thank you to our digital art tier members, J Warrior and AZ Void. And I'd like to give a final thank you to our colored art tier patrons, Walking Minows, and Ernesto 430.